What's good, people? I go by the name of K10, and this is Business and Booze, brought to you by Custodian, sponsored by Tequila, coming to you from Days and Nights Studios. And today, on this episode, I have with me the co-founder and COO of Bamboo, Yanmo Omorogbe.
Hi, K10.
What's going on?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right, not bad. I was asking you earlier, is this brand colors or you just happen to wear this today?
I just happen to wear it. I don't leave my house often, so when I do, I like to wear my clothes.
Fair enough. You are in the spirit. Okay. I want to throw a curveball at you just immediately.
Oh, Lord.
No, nothing too exciting. What is the last thing that truly excited you? Could be anything. Could be food, anything.
So I just got back from Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh.
I went to Carnival.
Oh.
So yeah, that was a thoroughly fantastic experience.
Interesting.
Fantastic.
Interesting. You have gone to, enjoy, and you have not come back to
Nigeria.
whatever is going on. Whatever is going on here. Okay, fair enough. Like for me, I watched Dune 2 yesterday.
Oh, is that good? I've been meaning to see it.
Ooh, whatever you do, make sure you see it in IMAX.
Really?
It is an
Thing
experience.
is, I haven't watched June 1.
Oh, really?
No, everyone says I should watch it.
Yeah, and you have to watch the first before you watch the second, sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll get around to it.
I feel like we're going to enjoy ourselves, but so that, we're assured, as this is Business and Booze, we're going to have some booze passed to us at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Yes. All right. Just a quick cheers.
Cheers. There
we
you go.
Clink, clink.
Cheers.
And then you let us know what you think of it.
Oh, let's see. So what is it?
It is tequila based. I feel like
Yeah,
there's
so
some
the tequila.
sort of like, is there pineapple in it?
That's good. Why is it?
Let's call it tequila sunrise. But I know it's tequila based. I think blanco and pineapple. It's kind of like a pina colada kind of vibe going.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay.
Sweet. And let's dive right into it. So, as I said, you are co-founder and COO of Bamboo, which is an investment platform.
Yeah.
Let me not undersell it. Can you tell us a bit about Bamboo?
So Bamboo is an investment platform that gives Africans the ability to invest in US stocks and ETFs, and we also have a fixed return product for Nigerians. So we're currently in Nigeria and Ghana, and fingers crossed South Africa very, very soon.
Sweet. And I feel like you were kind of like not solving a personal problem, but you were solving a problem when the opportunity came to you, right? In terms of you wanted to invest in stocks that you didn't have access to. Is that how that kind of came
so
about?
it was literally that. Like my co-founder Richmond and I definitely built a product for ourselves. So I was working in a PE firm at the time, and I was starting to learn more about finance. So I studied for the CFA. I passed like level 1, level 2. So I was like, okay, I know a bit more. Let me start investing. Did some stuff in Nigeria, and I wanted access to the US stock markets. And if you're Nigerian and you only have your Nigerian passports, you realize it presents some challenges sometimes.
Obstacles.
And in this instance, it meant that you couldn't do KYC. So none of the platforms were even interested in onboarding you if you only have Nigerian ID.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't have a way. And at the same time, when I spoke to my co-founder about it, he was working elsewhere, and he was saying, yeah, he wanted to invest in US stock markets. But when he spoke to like the companies he could find, either they were like, oh, the person who's dealing with it is on leave, and they'll be back in 3 weeks. And so it was like, huh? And so we started just talking about it. And at the time, so he's like more producty. So when we were talking about it, he was already thinking about, I need to solve the problem. What was all this? And so I was like, okay, that's cool. Like I have a real job. So
you do you.
Yeah, I was like, oh, let me know how it goes. Like, I love to be your first customer. Like, keep me posted. So we
Yeah.
kept in touch. And one day he was like, do you want to be my co-founder? And I'm a little impulsive. So I was like, might as well. Tiny.
And so you just 2 feet in, let's do this, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I was like, I might as well. At the time, I was thinking about going to business school.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, worst case scenario is like free 2 years of learning about like running a business. And like it doesn't work out, it's cheaper than whatever business school would cost.
Okay. Hold that thought. I have to present to you
Oh.
from the good people at Kekere-Ekun. And if you notice,
it has my name on it.
It does.
How exciting. This is an interesting bottle.
interesting.
Interesting. Let's go with interesting.
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go from today to the past. All right. So we're going to like secondary school. All right. Was there anything, even before secondary school, was there anything you did in your early life that kind of pointed to you doing the things you're doing today? Let me ask it another way. If I asked any of your classmates from back in the day if they thought you would end up as a startup founder, would they be surprised?
I guess we have to use it, but when I was in secondary school, I don't think we even knew what startup fund was.
Fair enough. Maybe it wasn't even a
but
thing
I
yet.
think, so I was good at school in secondary school.
Yeah.
Right. So I think maybe if you asked, like, if I thought about it then like, I knew that I would be doing something and doing well at it. And like, if you asked other people, they would definitely be like, oh, Yanmo will do something and do well at it. I did chemical engineering in uni, and I always wanted to be a chemical engineer from when I was like young, because I wanted to like work in oil and one day like run Shell. And I didn't want to do this at like 11 years old. Like I wanted to like work in an oil company.
What did you see at 11 that made you want to do that? Is it family?
I've always liked money.
Okay, I was going to get to that.
I've always liked money, and I guess when I was younger, people that made money worked in oil and gas, and then it was like Shell. So my mom did a lot of work in oil and gas, and I knew Shell, and I'd like done like an internship there. I was even older by then, but my mom did some work, so I knew of Shell, and it's like, if you're going to aim to work somewhere, you might as well aim to run it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's interesting. A lot of people think, or a lot of people say a lot of the time that people that study law, for example, are very versatile and end up in all sorts of different fields. But speaking to a lot of people, it's now sounding a lot like chemical engineering also seems like some kind of springboard for a lot of people. Because I know a lot of people that are in various fields, and they started off in chemical engineering. I just find that really...
Yeah, that makes sense. I think for me, I can only speak for myself.
Yeah.
So I went to Imperial, I did chemical engineering, and so I knew very quickly that the only thing I didn't want to be was a chemical engineer.
Fair enough.
Very, very quickly. But I have Nigerian parents who were
Yeah.
paying my school fees, so that wasn't really...
Yeah.
That was like a cool story. So I finished my degree, but then I spent all my time trying to figure out what else I wanted to be. And so I sort of did it by process of elimination.
Okay.
Where instead of... So I wasn't too bothered by what I tried, as long as each like internship or like learning or experience was something new that I could use to tick something off my list. So I was already at Notes Chemical Engineering. I worked in like a recycling firm. I was like, yeah. I worked in an insurance company, boring. But I was like, okay, I like, so what you sort of helps you like streamline at least some sort of direction. I could say I like the, so even with chemical engineering, I like the analytical bits, I like, you know, numbers, I like operations, so you streamline a little bit. And then, so that was anyway my process, so I can only speak for myself.
So even at that time, in trying all these things, was it a case of, oh, no knowledge is wasted, let me just try these things, or you were just going where the energies led you and trying to figure out where you were trying to get to?
I'm generally curious, so I do believe in that, like, no knowledge is wasted. But also, my parents were very big on, like, doing something. on like just having some. So like if summer lasted like 3 months, you couldn't
You
just
can't just be faffing.
as you can just be sitting, you just be sitting in the house for the whole 3 months doing what exactly. So they were like, so even if it was like a 2-week thing, it would be okay. Try this. So it would be like, okay, what do you want to do? How to have a CV? You know, that period, share your CV to all your aunties and uncles. So it was different things. So like I worked in recyclers. My mom met this lady at a panel and was like, I met this young woman, she's doing fantastic things. I want you should get to know her. I mean, like, yeah, you know.
Fair enough.
So, you know, I interned there, interned a few other places. And the idea was, again, my big thing was just more that each experience had to be different.
Yeah.
Right, so each experience, like there was no point doing an experience of something that I already knew I didn't want, that defeated the purpose. But it was more that each experience had to be different. And I'm generally open to learning. Everywhere has something cool. It could be people, it could be the work, it could even just be that you realize, okay, this place has nothing cool.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you are this co-founder of a startup, right? It all sounds very flashy. It all sounds, people are like, oh, women in tech, this person, tech babe, tech bro. But what does it really entail? What's like a typical day for you?
Oof. So every day is very different. So Abambo, I'm Bamboo's chief operating officer, and every COO role is different. I always like to joke that your COO role is dependent. It's basically like all the high level stuff your CEO doesn't want to do. So if you have, so if you have like a tech-based CEO like I do, and like I lead growth and like business operations at Bamboo.
Yeah.
So a lot of the work I do is in making sure that like the business runs like a well-oiled machine. So there's like a big picture, there's a big vision, but how do we break that down into stuff that you can do day to day?
Exactly.
And like, what does that look like, month to month? How do you track? How do you make sure you don't lose track of what you're doing? The other thing there that is really important is that you get really, really busy at like startups. There's so many things happening at the same time. And a lot of my role also entails sort of, I like to call them guardrails around business, like helping make sure that you don't get busy not producing outcomes that are aligned to what we're trying to do. Because it's very easy, you can spend like 2 weeks or even a whole month so busy. And then when you look back on, okay, what did I actually achieve? It's not what they sent you to do, even if you're busy. So a lot of my work is just making sure because I don't remember who said the quotes, but like, a good way to know when you're really, really focused is when you realize that you're saying no to things that you really want to do. Then that's when you know you're focused. Because if you're truly focused, you don't have space to do all the ideas that you want to do. I mean, unless you have like disastrously bad ideas. So yeah, that's a lot of that. So my day-to-day is spent doing that. It's spent in a lot of meetings. I'm trying to cut those down, but I spend hours in meetings, syncing with teams, making sure that teams are on track, checking what your blockers are. So a lot of my days also spent helping people get unblocked, making like sure that we're working quite well as a cross-functional team. We work fully remotely, so there's just also like work involved in ensuring that we're working as a cross-functional team, setting up quick calls so we can like solve stuff. But yeah, unblocking people and just making sure like the big vision is actualized day to day is probably the summary.
Okay. So, if I'm correct, Bamboo kind of started around the COVID period?
Yeah.
Ish?
So we started right at the end of 2019, October 31st. Yeah, October 31st, 2019. So I remember because the day before my birthday.
Okay.
And COVID hit 6 months after that? Yeah, COVID hit like March.
That was like lockdown. Okay.
Yeah.
Because what I was going to ask was if COVID and maybe lockdown also helped you make the decision to actually jump in. But if it happened before lockdown and before all of that, then probably not. You had already taken the decision before COVID was COVID, right?
Oh yeah. We're already done that,
Okay.
but we're locked in.
Since it happened in COVID, you started off remote. Was that always the plan?
So we launched at the end of October, if you remember. So COVID hadn't started, so
Okay.
we weren't remote. We had an office.
Oh, there was? Okay.
We rented an office, renovated an office and all. But we got into Y Combinator, And Y Combinator requires founders to move to San Francisco for 3 months. And we based there, and it's like startup bootcamp.
Okay.
So my co-founder, Richmond, and I were already moving to San Francisco from January to March. That was planned. So it was a 3-month period. So because we had to be away, we had to figure out how to stay on track with everything well, like people were in the office. So we already had like processes and stuff in place, right?
Yeah.
So we already used Slack a lot. We already did have team meetings on Zoom. We had like some stuff in place, but like the intention was we'll come back in April and go back to the office.
Yeah.
But then once lockdown hit, and lockdown lasted for a while, and then the whole COVID thing was already going on, we ramped up and became a real company, I like to say, during COVID. So we're now at the stage where I don't even know if we know how to be non-remote company.
Exactly.
I don't even
So
know what that
that's
looks like.
kind of what I was asking. How do you, I guess, keep people motivated, people that are not necessarily, you're not seeing physically, and how do you foster synergy within the company by being remote?
It's quite hard, I'm not going to lie, because, you know, people do feel isolated at home, but so we try and do it in a couple of ways. One is focused on like how we track work. A lot of how we track work and focus on work is tracked on outputs.
Okay.
Right, so what you're doing. So we try and keep people aligned and like have a culture that's very, very focused on like output. So we have a saying at Bamboo that we're trying to do amazing amounts of important work and like gather everybody around that vision. So the people that work at Bamboo actually want to work here. I believe in corporate adulting. Like, I didn't force you to apply, you didn't force me to hire you.
Yeah.
So I don't want to chase you for work, don't chase me for feedback. Like, let's all respect each other's time and stuff. So there's that. So our company culture is actually full of people who actually like the work they're doing, who are learning a lot. So that helps keep them motivated. And then generally we also we hang out once in a while, we try and have fun, we encourage people to meet up. There's also an office, so if you do want to work or like when new people join, the manager will probably have them in the office for a while or something.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. But we're still figuring out like if any like founders have any ideas on how to do this and do this well, hit me up.
Fair enough. As a tech company-ish, yeah, you rely on tech a lot, right, to do what you do. What sorts of, I imagine it can be very challenging in terms of like internet provision or the strength of the internet here, that sort of thing. Like today, like,
that's why I'm laughing.
like today things have shut down. And you said across Africa, not even just Nigeria.
Yeah,
because there's an issue with the cable. So how does that work for you guys when people are trying to take out their money or move their money and they can't, whatever, and customer service, that sort of thing?
Customer service has genuinely been huge for us because we do financial service. So a lot of our growth, I would attribute, has been to customer service because building a brand that people trust is important.
Yeah.
So like if you send a message to Bamboo customer support, you should get a reply in under 10 minutes. You know, just giving you an update on what's going on, regardless. So that's been huge. So what I've also learned is that people can be understanding if they know what's going on. So it's just important to like communicate properly, you know, explain what's happening, solve people's problems as soon as possible, or let them know, you know, timelines and keep people updated. Obviously, sometimes all the best laid plans happen and then things go shit. Oh, sorry, I can't say shit. Things go awry.
Yeah.
And you say sorry.
Fair enough.
And do your best next time.
And to be fair to you, you're not like I know. So I'm on Bamboo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and with my small $30 that I have there, it's just there, just gaining momentum. But yeah, I know how many hi Yanmo from Bamboo that I've received. So you are not lying.
We communicate.
You know how they say mistakes and failures are catalysts for growth, right? You know where I'm going with this.
I just wondering which of the questions.
No. So, are there any mistakes that you have made along the way, or any failures that just at the time made your stomach turn? You're like, okay, my world is coming to an end. What am I doing here? Imposter syndrome, blah, blah, blah. But then you now got through it and you learned and grew from it.
That's an interesting one. So January as like I think the biggest like existential crisis at the time I felt humongous was just when we launched, like right at the beginning when we launched. Like so what I'm saying, like 2 days after we launched, not even like far after we launched, we had onboarding emails that we used to send to people.
Okay.
And we had to send around, you just sign up on Bamboo, so immediately you should get an email that says, or at least within it. Well, now actually you get the email immediately as soon as you sign up because it's automated.
Yeah.
So it should be automated immediately. You get something that says, "Welcome to Bamboo." It's like a little, thing. And let's say like 2 days, the email service we were using just stopped working. Like it wasn't working. Something was.
This is 2 days after launch.
Yeah, literally 2 days after launch. What did I say? So it was the day after launch because it was my birthday. Oh my god, yes, it was my birthday. I just remember. Anyway, let me say sorry if I say. Yeah, it was my birthday.
Yeah.
And then we're doing it. So it's my birthday. I was gonna head into the office. So much was going. I mean, launch week was already. A lot had happened that day, and we had to send off the email manually. So we're trying to do it in batches. Okay, see when there's a lot of people trying to do it in batches.
Yeah.
And then, because it was my birthday, I had to do my hair.
Fair enough.
And I was like, okay, I did my hair. And then it was taking a bit of time. So I messaged someone else at the office at the time. And I was like, oh, can you do it? These are the steps, blah, blah, blah. And like, she seems to be like, yeah, she has this, she understands this. So I'm like, okay, sorted, this is fine. I know it's a large amount of users, but no problem. And then I looked down on my phone to see a message from a user that's basically like, people are so serious, we don't take privacy seriously. And I was like, how happened? And I look, and apparently the onboarding email that we sent manually, we'd mistakenly sent it to like, at the time, like a couple of people with their emails showing.
Oh wow.
So everyone could see everybody's email.
So I sent newsletter.
Oh my god, I'm mortified thinking about it. I was doing my hair, I was weeping as I was doing
salon.
my hair. I was trying to finish my hair, it was my birthday.
No, they say, sorry ma. Sorry ma.
Yeah, sorry, is everything okay? I was like, please just hurry up. They were taking so long. I was crying. I went into the office and I lost it. It was so embarrassing. Like I was just shouting. It was just awful. The person who made the mistake, she was really apologetic. I think I lost my mind, honestly. I remember just crying and thinking, like, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Like, it's over. Like, no one's going to give us money again. No one's going to trust us if you can't even cover your email address, for God's sake. And, it was... So, interestingly, I think it was it's something like I think about often, not even because of like the feeling of the existential crisis of it, but also like the way I handled it. I think for me is like I lost it. Like not just that I was weeping, I was screaming at this this girl. I mean, after a while, I even had to like a few days later, I even had to message her to be like, oh, because
my bad.
I literally should not have spoken. Like, why are you shouting at somebody in the workplace? Yeah, this is not your family house. You know what I mean? Like, something I think about all the time to like remember that like stuff is going to happen, and in like messed up moments where you as a founder are having an existential crisis.
Yeah.
That's your existential personal problem. It's important to like show like leadership and strength to your team. You can't be like, I honestly lost this one.
Yeah, don't worry. I can see that it's still bugging you the way.
And like it's just totally unprofessional.
Yeah.
It's just irresponsible.
Yeah.
So like that's something. But we grow, we learn.
You were forged in the fire, have you?
But yeah.
Fair enough.
But,
I mean, but now, chilled, you separate the emotion from what needs to be done, I guess.
Yeah, generally I'm just like very, very like this is what needs to be done. When I feel like really, really stressed, I just want to sleep and come back.
Fair enough.
And like let's talk about it. So like you learn how to communicate better, and I think that's super important.
Okay. With like startups, like your startup now, how intentional were you and your co-founder in terms of separating roles or allocating roles, just in terms of how to manage each other's expectations?
Allocating roles, I don't know that we're so intentional, but we were very, like, the line is very clear. But I think that also just fell where it fell. We both fell into what we liked to do.
Yeah.
And luckily or unluckily, none of us like to do the same thing. So I like not like, I don't want to do tech. I don't want to do like product. I don't like it. Like it also like I'm more practical. Also like vision, mission stuff, sort of. And like Richmond does want to like do financials and do the like Richmond. We just did what we wanted to do. That really helped. Managing each other, managing expectations, like a communication thing. We communicate regularly. We also make sure to communicate regularly in a professional setting. So we set a weekly call, because I think what can also happen with co-founders, especially if you're like friends, which we are, is that you just be talking all the time. And then you now start talking about, like, you talk about work, but and then it's a bit awkward to tell your friend, like, you're messing up. And, but if we set aside at least an hour and a half every week on Monday before the week starts. I didn't talk to anybody on my work week before I talk to Richard.
Okay.
And just talk, this is what I want to do, very, very serious, be like, you're messing up, or this is not on, or this is good. So that's been very intentional, and I think that has been very, very helpful. And you're just communicating really, really well, and saying sorry when
it needs to be said.
Yeah, I'm big on that.
Fair enough. You are dealing with people's money. And it's with investment. So actually, let me ask you this. What is your attitude towards investments? What's your risk appetite? Do you just do the safe stuff, or are you half and half?
I think I'm half and half. So with like stock market investing, I do the safe stuff, because I also don't have the time to like be doing research into like really interesting things, and I am not just going to follow because someone said X, Y, and Z. So I do the safe stuff that I can understand and watch it grow, and then I have some stuff that is like a little less safe. Yeah. Okay. But my risk appetite is interesting because I'm also very good at holding. So I don't have that thing that people have. Like, I can watch the money go to zero.
You don't have paper hands.
Yeah, I can watch it go to zero.
Yeah.
And not like, okay, I like see go up. Like, I'm actually almost good to the point that it's bad at holding. Because I actually don't sell unless something urgent is happening.
If I was dealing with people's money and responsible for people's money, I'll be waking up in cold sweats, panicking. Honestly. So, like, do you feel the pressure? And how do you deal with it?
Yeah, I think it's a huge responsibility. Yeah. Like, it's not even about people dealing with people's money. It's like, people are trusting you with their money that they've worked hard for.
Exactly.
And so I don't take it like I'm grateful to every single human being who uses the Bamboo app. Simply, we have processes in place that work. Make sure the app is super secure. Yeah. A lot of my personal money is on the app.
And my $30.
Okay, please. So that's like a key thing. Just have so I don't need to wake up in cold sweats because it works.
Fair enough. When the system in place.
The system works, settlements work, your money gets where it needs to go. People's money is very, very, very safe. We have partners that work. So it's in doing the work and not like cutting corners and making sure everything works properly. You don't have to worry about something basic.
Yeah. Okay. One thing I really wanted to ask though, before we start to wrap up, is what is your continuing education like? Because as the platform grows, you have to grow as well. So what does that look like?
So a thing I say all the time about Bamboo, I probably ask anyone, they probably say is you don't know what you don't know. It's incredibly important to focus on the fact that you don't know what you don't know. So you need to learn as much as possible. So for me, I'm always reading. I might listen to interviews of other people. Yeah. And it's just that. It's just trying as much as possible to like look at other companies that have done really well and see them and ask them, oh, that's cool. So when I see people that I think are cool, I'm always asking, well, what are you working on? Yeah. And for me, it's a question that helps you know what's happening out there outside your own sphere of influence. And so for me, it's about continuing to learn in different ways via, reading, trying to improve. From my team, I learned so much from the Bamboo team. We try and hire the best people at what they do. And I tell everyone that works at Bamboo, even if you do customer experience, even if you're, a marketing intern, at whatever you're doing, you're more of an expert at it than I am. And so so I try and learn enough from my team, my co-founder, other founders, But yeah, it's learning where possible. It's no school share.
Fair enough. Did you know about ETFs before, like this whole Bitcoin ETFs? And did you have ETFs on Bamboo
Oh yeah, we
already?
have ETFs on Bamboo.
So that's something you had to learn. You already knew about that.
No, so on Bamboo we have US stocks and ETFs, so stuff like the S&P 500.
Okay.
A lot of ETFs on Bamboo.
Okay, sweet. Now, how do you? This is like, it's not high octane work, but it's heavy work, right? I would like to call it heavy work. How do you relax? How do you step down?
I sleep.
Okay.
I really enjoy sleeping. And generally, I'm now so before when I started running Bamboo, I just used to like work all the time and I used to like lose my mind. And so it's been very important for me to include what I call pockets of joy into my day.
That's
every day.
Very nice.
It could be, a quick TV show. It could be, just a drink, just calling my friend and laughing for like 10 minutes. It could be a nap. But just something that made me happy during every day.
Fair enough.
And that's
intentional
important.
about those pockets of joy.
Yes, extremely intentional. Otherwise, you go crazy.
Fair enough.
And then you'll be dead.
Fair enough. Do you, by any chance, remember making your first million naira? What you spent it on?
I've been at work and something like.
Oh, when you were.
So my
before
previous
Bamboo.
job, it would be salary. What did I spend this on? Just existing in
Soft
Lagos.
life.
Just just existing. Like I don't think there will be anything in particular.
Right?
Although I feel like I should say something like I bought land or something. Something that sounds as a serious finance and I invested it. But I'll be lying. I just lived my life. I probably went out to eat.
Fair enough.
I was just living.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. I think we have gotten to the landing part, and we like to toast.
Okay.
All right. So I think to little pockets of joy.
Yes.
Profound. Profound.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
There we go. Yes, that is another episode of Business and Booze done. I hope you were inspired and not bamboozled.
Oh my God.
Once again, this has been Business and Booze. I hope you learned a thing or two about a thing or two. Thank you, Yanmo, for imparting knowledge.
Thanks for having me. I had a fantastic time.
We had a fantastic time.
And thank you for my gift.
No problem.